also, for those out you watching out there, I forgot to say, but if you're watching, you should subscribe to the American Songwriter Twitch and put audience questions in as we go along. Because
use your Twitch Prime, because it's free, you know?
That's right. We're going all in on Twitch. So leave your questions. We'll be asking them later. More icebreakers.
All right.
Let's do it.
Texting or calling?
Texting, 100%.
I'm a caller. That's so funny. That is different.
No.
I'm bad at like, I'm the guy, I don't use emojis, so like everyone calls me and is like, dude, are you mad? And I'm like, no.
That's very true. Gary will
like-
send a text and you're like, oh crap, like,
Yeah.
I can't tell if he's like pissed.
See, like, Charlie likes to text, but like, me and my wife, like, I'll call her when we're on the road like 3 times a day and just update her on like, instead of like the constant like, what are you doing? You know, what are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Wow, all right. So then my next question is just for Charlie, and it's, what's your most used emoji?
Most used emoji. I would say it's probably just the like crying, laughing emoji. That's probably my most used
Basic.
one. You know?
It's a classic. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with that. Wow. All right. Describe yourselves in 3 words.
Like our so like
Or
personally.
each of y'all, or you could do the group as a whole. Either would be a fun exercise.
Okay.
Gosh, I don't know.
You,
what do we
3
do?
words.
What do we do?
I would say,
Unpredictable.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is the band, right?
Yes.
Okay.
God.
Unapologetic.
That's good. Keep going while you're on a roll. It's hard to like describe yourself and not feel like if you want to be like, I would say good, you know?
Like, you're so talented.
Yeah. But yeah, Southern.
Southern.
Hey,
That's a good
there
one.
you go.
There you go.
Oh my
Beautiful.
gosh, wow. Is that a little bit like what the writing process is like if y'all collaborate? Keep going while you're on a roll.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say those 3 words reflect a lot of like how we, you know, really just like run our business and run like our writing process and creating process too. We kind of, it's, you know, our manager's in the room too. You can ask him. He's the one that has to deal with all of our unpredictable, like unapologetic ideas.
That true?
And
We gotta laugh.
we just roll off ideas and and when we think it's a good idea, we're like, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
You know?
shotgun approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. All right. Do y'all drink coffee? How do you drink it?
I drink coffee. I like it with cream and 2 sugars.
That's fun. You're asking good icebreakers
They are
because
great,
they're I don't drink coffee. So
We're
at
learning a
all.
lot about
Yeah,
this.
so
These are good questions.
I've tried and I just like can't do it. My wife loves it, but I just can't do coffee.
I'm getting a little better at it. Like I used to just be like a K-cup guy, just straight up, and now I've upgraded a little bit to like I have the pot now, and I even got a bean grinder today, actually.
Oh, today.
So I'm not like
coffee day.
I'm not like Chemex or like anything like that
Pour-overs.
levels yet, but I'm definitely stepping up the game. You know.
Oh, wow.
It's getting more intense.
Wow. Do you take your caffeine another way or no caffeine at all?
Yeah, I mean, I drank a Mountain Dew today. I mean,
Right, yeah.
I woke up this morning and poured one.
Take
with
it. How do you
breakfast.
take it?
That's bad, bro.
It's Mountain Dew.
But yeah, I drank one of those today.
Yeah, I guess you're not on like a pour over Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Just drain it.
That would be
On the road,
interesting.
we're elevating our
wonder-
caffeine levels though. Then like when we're in town, it's probably not as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh, wow. Well, that's good for the next one, which is what's your favorite food to eat on the road?
Chipotle.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that was
dude.
a really quick and definitive answer.
We probably eat it at least twice a weekend.
Honestly, I think that like a normal people would probably say it's strange how much we eat.
If it's in the town, we will eat it.
We try to eat healthy on the road. It's almost impossible a lot of times. So it's like the great thing about Chipotle is it's fresh, and it's like it's controllable. It's controllable like what you're getting, and you know it's not like crappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to Burger King and just popping a Whopper and like
Yeah.
up next you got an upset stomach while you're on stage. Not ideal. You know
Oh
what I mean?
my gosh, yeah, wow. And they got the good rewards program too at
Oh,
Chipotle.
dude, I've got so many points.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be another icebreaker there too. I'm the rewards points guy, and he's not.
I just like go with it. Like I don't think I've ever updated my phone or anything. I'm just like so. If it's like I'm utilitarian. If it works, you know, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, right on. All right, you go into a deli. What's your sandwich order?
Mega meat.
Like I'm gonna go meatball sub.
Meatball sauce. All right.
dude.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we got to talk about music at some point. But first, like music you ever bought, whether it's like a single or a record or CD.
Oh, this is great. I'll go first. I got the first CD I ever bought was Young Jock, New Jock City.
That's with
That was the one with like the what's the song? It's going down. Meet me in the mall. Yes, that.
I love that.
And I had to get the parental. I had to get the one that was clean too, because my mom was like, "We're not gonna play like cussing in the car." Like what? And so I had to get the one that was edited. So it was like, it was terrible. It's like not the best way to listen to rap.
My mom and dad are Southern Baptists, so they weren't buying rap albums. But I can't remember the first one that I personally bought.
Like you went to Walmart and you were like, "I'm taking these $10."
Yeah, I would say the first one was "If Only You Were Lonely" by Hawthorne Heights.
Ooh, that's
12.
good, dude.
I think that.
Punk,
I mean, I
pop
feel like
life.
12 was the time where I had like $20 to like drop on
100%.
something.
Yeah, like your dad like spot you a 20 every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say that.
Oh, wow. Right
That's
on.
good.
All right. Well, first concert you ever went to?
Ooh, okay. John Michael Montgomery. It was at the Mobile State Fairgrounds, and I didn't like choose to go. My mom brought me, but that was one of my first country music memories.
Oh, right on.
I would say probably, honestly, Bayfest or something like that. We used to have a festival in Mobile where we're from.
So then it was probably like 3 doors down.
Yeah, but they had like Mobile, where we're from, such like a smorgasbord of like different cultures. It's one of the oldest cities in America, and just kind of like New Orleans, it has like that kind of like French
Like the Zydeco
vibe.
feel.
Yeah, and it's got this like interesting,
music scene.
Yeah, and so they always would have one stage was rap, one stage was rock, one stage was country. So you were just like
everything.
revolving door all day. So I do remember I saw Eric Church the first time I went to Bayfest. So that was awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that's epic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Joey, good job on these questions.
Yeah,
by the
dude.
way.
All right.
These
Yeah.
are money,
All right.
dude.
Well,
This
we
is
got
fun.
we got a few more before we dive into the beef of our interview today.
Hey,
But-
Joe, we've got some comments from the audience.
Okay.
Oh, let's hear it.
Oh.
So, first of all, we have a fan who wants to shout out to you guys for turning them on to Chipotle.
Oh, nice.
turn us
So,
on
Are we
Chipotle.
going to get sponsored by Chipotle eventually? Because I
At
feel
least a
like
gift card.
we need.
Chipotle,
I
That's
think
the
we
you're
dream.
watching.
Yeah, no,
at
that's the
Chipotle
dream.
in the comments.
And Tatum Lynn 64 wants to know, how did y'all get your big music break?
Ooh, a lot of luck, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know how to define that. I don't know if we've had a break, but we just.
I mean, I
really
feel
just-
like the moment where I feel like it became more than just, your friends as your fans was definitely when we put out Porch-Swing Angel.
Yeah.
And that song kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of just took off for us, in a small way. Like it wasn't like a way of like a number one on the radio would take off, but for an indie band like us, and that doesn't have label backing or anything, like it was everything. And so we acquired a lot of fans from that song. That was just one of those like, hey, we like the song, let's put it out. We had no idea that it would really become the backbone of our career.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So a lot of luck. A lot of luck and just preparation, I guess.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, I guess maybe that's a good kind of demonstration of that whole, what they say about fame overnight usually comes after years and years and years of work
Yeah,
and preparation.
totally.
Right? Oh, wow. All right, well, I'm gonna do a quick rapid round of some favorites for the end of our icebreakers, and then
Okay.
we're gonna dive into some,
I'm nervous now.
some quick favorites. What's your favorite drink?
LaCroix.
I'd probably say Diet Mountain Dew.
Love that. Love Mountain Dew. Oh, dang, you left me hanging.
Oh, no, yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right, we made it, y'all.
I can't wait to watch that back.
What's your favorite season?
Spring.
Fall.
What's your favorite word?
Probably like, because I say it in every interview unintentionally.
Golly, it's probably a cuss word, to be honest.
So if you're at home, you can use your imagination. What's your favorite video game if you got
I don't play video games.
Warzone.
one? Warzone. Favorite movie?
I'd probably say Remember the Titans.
Same here.
Favorite TV shows?
Golly, man.
I'd say Yellowstone right now for me. If you
Yeah.
is that a TV show or is that can that work?
like like I would just go like Yellowstone, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy.
yeah.
There you go. Favorite books?
Mine is The 10th Legion by Tom Kelly.
I wish I had one. I don't. I just don't. I just don't.
That's awesome.
I just don't.
Favorite color?
Black.
I'd probably say blue.
Right on. Oh, and now we got one more from someone watching at home, an audience member.
Shout out.
PJ Mitchum. I apologize if I mispronounced your name.
Shout out PJ, my guy.
Asks, what's your favorite new artist?
Ooh.
Country. If we're going to keep it country, I would say mine right now is either Ashland Craft or Laney Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Those are good. I like, golly, I know Hicks is good. Love Job Fortner. Couple up and comers.
Yeah, right.
Check them out.
Yes, check them all out. And
Or
you can
whatever
check out
can-
Ashland Craft on a previous Off the Record we did.
Yeah,
See?
Ashland, she's
You're
great.
welcome.
Yeah, yeah. And if you haven't subscribed, now you see what you're missing out on.
Exactly.
How about that?
Exactly.
And we got another audience question in the chat from
Let's go, Chad.
Glaw27, GLAUC27. I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize for not pronouncing it at all. But what's harder to master, playing guitar or quick scoping?
I played the fifth 'cause I
Definitely
don't
guitar. I haven't mastered either, but definitely I would say guitar takes a little more time.
It's a little bit more expressive.
Exactly. But that's hilarious.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, keep those kind of questions coming.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if they're on Twitch, they're probably gamers. So
Wow. Well, now I kind of want to get into talking a little bit more seriously about y'all's kind of life and your upbringing
Yeah.
and kind of what forged your sound and who y'all are today. And I know that we were just talking about y'all's hometown of Mobile and kind of like all the energy that was going on there. But when did y'all specifically get into music and start kind of seeing yourself as maybe performers or musicians? And maybe if you want to go one at a time, I'll start with Gary.
yeah, I mean,
You're sitting closer to me. It just
Alright.
felt more natural.
All right, yeah, I got you. I had a best friend, shout out, he doesn't probably know that I always say this, but his name's Parker Bear.
you think he's watching?
No, definitely not. He's probably working at some steel mill or something. But and when we were second grade, he started taking guitar lessons, and we were best friends, and I was like, well, I'm going to do it too, since Parker's doing it. He quit like 3 weeks later, and then I just had a knack for it, and just kept going. And also like had a grandmother who played piano, and so she always kind of kept me in check every time. Like she'd come in from just to visit and be like, "What have you been learning?" and show me right now.
Stayed on you.
And so like, that kind of was the first kind of molding of doing music. And honestly, since 10 years old, this is really all I've wanted to do. So it's really cool to get to be almost 30 and still doing it. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, for me it was a little bit different. I grew up singing in choir and stuff in church, and my dad still sings in the choir at church now, and so I kind of just accidentally was always in and around singing in choirs and stuff like that, and that's where I kind of realized I knew how to sing, I guess, because I don't think you really know that you know how until someone tells you like, oh, you're good at this or something, and so I kind of realized then, I was like, okay, so I can sing, I can keep a tune and all that stuff. And then I had my sister, Emily, she had some friends that were in some hardcore bands growing up. And at the time, like, I thought there was no cooler thing than playing in a band, And ironically, I never played in a real band until I was like probably 21 or 22. But I got a guitar when I was 14. And really, ever since then, I started getting on Google, and just looking up tabs and chords, and it just kind of fell into my lap, to be honest. So when I went to college, and I was cutting grass and going to college, and somebody was like, hey, you should try playing at the bar or whatever. And I still had no idea that I would ever do that. And I tried it one time, and it was kind of one of those surreal moments where I was like, damn, like, I think I could do this, And so here we are, still doing it.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. There's so many things in there that are like interesting little points that pique my interest. Like even mentioning that you did choir. I mean,
Right.
y'all harmonized
Yeah.
so well.
Right.
I gotta imagine something like that's gotta lay like a really strong.
Oh,
foundation.
Yeah,
For
like don't let it
sure.
fool. He's like classically trained, so like he like came up like he'll say all these legato, staccato, like all this stuff, and I'm like I don't know what that means. So it's funny, but really the harmony just is natural. It's nothing that we really had tried to do. We both sing harmony, and we're blessed that we can hear it in our head, and we can both sing the high and the low. And so it's awesome when we go in a studio to record a song. It's like, okay, for this song, who's singing lead? All right, what harmonies are we singing high or low? We can like decipher through which one. And so it's a really cool. Like,
shout out to all the like emo and punk music that we like. We're driving down the road, you know, singing, really like picking out the harmonies in our cars and stuff. I would say that's where you kind of realize and learn that stuff, you know.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, wow. Well, you told us about how you kind of got into playing shows. Gary, how did you kind of start getting into like gigging?
So I went to a little private school that had like this. It was a Christian-based school, and we had like a praise band, and we were like in 6th grade. I was in 6th grade, and just started really getting comfortable playing in front of people and singing. And then it kind of just graduated. Like Charlie was talking about the hardcore band thing. I was actually in a hardcore band.
You were?
Yeah, and
what was it called?
It was called A Life at Stake.
A Life
Good luck
at
finding
Stake.
everybody.
Please YouTube it.
You won't find it anywhere, but hopefully. But then, I got a real knack, or just really got into songwriting. That was really kind of how, like Charlie's was the kind of the performing side, and I just loved writing songs and creating. And then when I got to college, went through a breakup, had something to write about, then I was like, all right, well, I got these songs, let's put a band together. And so that's when college for me, like 1920 is when I started gigging. And then from then on, I quit my job while I was going to school just to do that, because we're finally making enough money to just like not have to work like a crappy job somewhere else and do that. So it was cool.
Wow, that's awesome. And so y'all met because, Gary, you were opening for Charlie, right? What was that story?
Yeah, man. So I had a cover band that I was in college, and that was my first band, and we were playing, you know, at the time it felt like bigger deal shows than it was, but so we were just playing in like Auburn, where I went to college, and you know, running around Montgomery and really just Alabama for the most part in the early parts. And the only bar in Mobile at the time that would let me play was a place called Soul Kitchen, and ironically we play that place to this day now. And it was just one of those, like, there's a front room there, and it's like 200 people or whatever, and it's really just all my buddies coming, and we needed somebody to open the show, and somebody threw Gary's name in a hat, and I mean, we were just like, come on, like, you know, let's try it. And that's where Gary and I initially really shook hands, you know, and like became really just like buds.
Yeah, through like social media, like we knew of each other, but it's kind of funny. We both grew up in Mobile, have like an ungodly amount of like mutual friends, and still to this day, I'll be like, you know that? How did you know that person? And but yeah, we just like through Facebook and stuff like that. There wasn't too many guys from Mobile putting up cover songs on the internet, and we just knew each other were doing that. And then so when he asked me, I was like, I hadn't really gigged before, so I was like dude, come on. So it was fun, and then we kind of just kept up. That was, I
feel like it was like 2012 or 10?
2000, somewhere in between
somewhere in
there. And then, because I remember I went off to college, and then just kept in touch, really. And we were kind of doing our own separate things. And then I remember coming to Mobile again and playing with Charlie. Then he'd come to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where I went to college, and play shows. And just, I don't know. And at some point, we were just like, I came and sat in with him at a show or something like that. And that's where we really found the harmony thing, because we grew up on the same stuff and knew the same bar standard songs.
We knew 4 hours of music together.
So he just started singing, and then I just started singing harmony, and then I would sing a lead, and then he'd sing harmony, and we were just like, okay, you know. And then kind of did that for like a year, and then
you're still doing it now.
Still doing it. And then even at that point, not even being like, hey, we should start a band. It was just kind of like just two guys harmonizing, having fun.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. When did you finally like pin the name to it?
2015.
Yeah.
I moved up to Nashville the month after I graduated college, and then Charlie came up, I think 3 months after that, and with intentions of like, hey, let's do this. Like, I don't know.
Don't know what we're doing.
I don't know what songs we're gonna put out, what we're gonna call this thing, whatever. And then I think we just kind of found Muscadine Bloodline through, just trying to figure out what a band name is, because band names are tough. You want it to be good, right? And so, yeah, once we landed on that, we were both like, all right, good enough for me. Let's do it. And here we are, still Muscadine Bloodline.
Oh my gosh, wow. Well, hearing about kind of your origin story, one thing that stands out to me that's really fascinating is kind of the role that the internet was kind of able to play between even like teaching you, Charlie, how to play guitar to begin with, and then like even connecting with each other. There's so many things that I think is interesting. I mean, it seems like y'all really kind of came up in a time where the internet was like the first generation of artists where the internet really kind of like fully defined how like you interface with music.
Yeah,
I
I thought it was a weird thing too, and Charlie and I talk about this often, when you could first take, because I didn't even have a smartphone, I had the iPod Touch. Remember that, the iPod Touch?
yeah.
We're throwing it back here, but it had a camera
an
on
iPhone
it.
with no phone,
Right,
basically.
you know, and internet. And so, but yeah, I had Facebook on it, and then Facebook started to where you could post videos. And then I remember going to school the next day, and people were like, I had no idea, like, you sang.
Same.
And
Same
like
story.
did that, and I was like, oh, so you got that first scratching that itch of like, oh, people think I'm good at something. I'm gonna.
People
keep
think this
doing
is
it.
cool.
Yeah,
Let's do this. Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of the start. But yeah, you're right. It's
wow.
weird how important that is to. It still is very important to our career right now.
Yeah, and we built a lot of our, I would say, our first initial fans, by doing something we called Muscadine Mondays at the time, and it was just, we didn't have nothing going on. We had just started our social media page and platform, and the only thing we knew how to do to get people to listen was singing. And honestly, and we always joke about being in a duo, it's kind of like cheating because we get to harmonize, and it's easier to make something sound better when you have two voices. And so we would literally put up a cover song every single Monday, and we probably did that for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's how we really gained our initial following on social media.
And then we just stopped because we ran drive covers. And we were like, what do we know?
We would even like cheat the system even farther. We'd be like, comment or retweet, and we'll send out a free merch. We send out a free merch item every single week. Yeah. And it works. I mean, people loved it. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I'm sure that's also too like arrange a cover every week. I mean, that's got to be good just for the muscle of performing together.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, let's see. I lost my place on my iPad.
Come on, Joey.
God.
Oh, I got some questions.
Oh, we got some more questions.
Let's hit
'em. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got two questions for you guys that are similar. So from Gabe A91, what is your favorite song that y'all have written? And then Nifty TTV wants to know, what is one song you wish you wrote?
That's a really good question. For me, currently, my favorite song that Gary and I have written together is Turn Back Time, it's on an EP that we put out a little over a year ago. It's called the Turn Back Time EP, actually. But that song, and now we play it live, and it's kind of like, we've kind of turned it into a different song a little bit. We've kind of changed it up and like added a lot more instruments to it, and I think we're actually going to recut it on maybe another project pretty soon. So for me, it's that. The second question, I think just like one of my favorite songs of all time is In Your Atmosphere by John Mayer. And I don't know why, it was just like a time in my life when I found that song, and it just like has always stuck with me, and it's very unique, and he's never put it out on any record. It's just on his live record. And so I just always thought that was so cool that John Mayer, did that one quirky thing for that song, and it's just always stuck with me.
Hell yeah.
I would say, just to say a different song, one of my favorites that we've written is Jenny. It's the first song Charlie and I ever wrote together, and we always end our show with that song. For the last 5 years, we always end it. So it's kind of like this ode to like finish it how you start it and that kind of thing. And so it's another song too that we're thinking about just redoing again and putting it out the way we play it live now. Songs just transform the more you live with them and that kind of thing. And so I would say this is not going to be one that a lot of people have ever heard, but there's an artist named Rick Brantley, and he has this song called Hurt People. And if I need a cry, like a good cry, that's the song I go to.
Good cries are good.
And it's like,
100%.
it's the hook is literally hurt people. And so he goes through this laundry list of different people in his life that hurt him because they were probably hurting. And so it's like, it's heavy. Like, that's one, if I'm just like tired and need like I said, just kind of
night drive.
Yeah, I need a good cry alone while everyone's asleep in the Sprinter. That's the one.
Hey, that's a little boy. Love that.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome. Well, talking about your first song that y'all wrote together, how did that come to be? When did you guys start like really writing together?
Gosh, so I just remember, and this is just my side of it, but it's like I just remember kind of being at this dead end spot of what I was like noticing a dead end spot in like this cover band thing. And I had a buddy that was a mentor at the time, and he was saying to me, like, he's like, man, like you got to put out some originals, you know, because that's really the only way to really progress in the industry. It's like, you know, it's rare people become big time on playing other people's music. And so I literally hit up the only person I knew that wrote songs, which was Gary. And so I just remember hitting him up, and it was just something simple. It was like, hey man, like we should co-write or something like that. And Gary was like, all right, cool. And that was when he initially came up to Auburn that one time. And honestly,
it's the first time I think we played on stage together as well. Like we wrote that day, wrote Jenny, and I think we started another song. And then he's like, I got a gig tonight. You want to just sit in with me? And I was like, I got a guitar, sure.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of like the uninitial
like
start
forming, like accidental
of this.
forming of it,
Yeah.
which is really kind of cool.
Whoa, wow. Well, now I kind of want to talk a little bit about y'all's sound specifically, because you have such a cool sound where there's so many elements of it that are like very clearly stylistically like country music, but then it's also like its own thing entirely. And listening to your body of work, it's like, especially once you really get into it, you're like, oh, this is like a unique kind of sound. Like I could hear one of these songs somewhere else and be like, oh, that's a Muscadine Bloodline song based from that sound. And what I've noticed just talking to you guys today is that you're mentioning a lot of artists who like aren't country artists, or like
Sure.
yeah, hardcore band, all these
Yeah.
things. So how do you kind of think about that or approach that? Is it really kind of just like putting out like, what's it like?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the beginning of our career, you know, it was a lot easier for us to just say like, okay, like what are some things we've always been inspired by? And like, yeah, you can hear these like country and pop elements and rock and like heavy music. You can hear it like all in our music. And in the beginning, it was kind of, you know, flattering at the time. People were like, y'all are the band we show people when like they say they hate country music. It's like we show them you guys. And so like for 4 or 5 years we like thought that was so cool, you know, and like which brings us to where we are now in our career. We kind of like almost want to put down a different footprint instead of being just like the you know, watercolor board of a million different things, like especially with this new record that we have coming out, and we have a new single out now too that I'm sure our fans have heard it, but it's got a much more country stamp on it. And as of recent, we've just felt like on our heart that we need to really just stamp down in that direction a little harder, you know, and really just no particular reason. It just kind of feels natural to us right now, and country music is just one of our favorite genres and one of the best genres. And so we just feel like we could make a better version of what we've been doing already. And so that's kind of where we've been landing recently.
Yeah, I would say kind of the progress through it. Everything has always been situational. Like it's really like every project's like, what are we feeling at the time? And so, and that's art, right? Like, you know,
For
I don't
sure.
want to paint the same picture every time, you know, and just go back to the drawing board, do the same exact thing.
Right.
And so that was really, I mean, it's an array because, you know, one time we went to record music, we were feeling different than the other time we were recording music.
Totally.
And so we even started out like that. The first time we went to the studio, we took 3 different songs.
I mean, it was strategic.
Yeah,
even
because we were like, I don't know where we're going to sit in this cog of country music, so let's put out 3 different things and see which people gravitate to. One was this song called Shut Your Mouth. It's very heavy. And then another one called Southern Boy Cure. It's like harmonica, red dirt, rock. And then the next one was Porch Ring Angel. And so that was and we're like, all right, let's see which one sticks, and maybe this is a start. This is a jump-off point for us. And then from there, it's just kind of been like, I said, honestly, like not for Adam, our manager, but like previous people, they're like, what are we doing here? Like we did this, now we're doing this. It's like, but it makes it fun because now it's gotten to where we are now, and it's kind of like fixating that sound sonically and what we're writing and how we're writing to a record. And so it's like
That's really the turning point, honestly.
right.
Yeah.
We put out our first record over COVID, and it was kind of the first time, like, I mean, I'm talking like full length, like LP. And so after we did that, we were like, dang, I just want to put out a record a year and really write to a record. And so that kind of changes everything now, because now we're writing to specific themes instead of just like, okay, here's a body of 10 songs that, you know, we thought were good last year that we wrote. Here we go. You know, so it's just a growing thing, I think. So, but it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, we're going to be talking more about your new music and all of this kind of stuff after a quick ad break. And we'll also be back with some musical performance too. And if you're watching at home, you still have plenty of time to put in questions. We're asking them. And so
come on, chat.
Keep them coming.
Put some questions in there,
yeah,
baby.
Keep them coming. We're going to be talking about it all, and we're going to be back soon.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope you've been enjoying the interview so far. We're going to play a couple songs for you guys. This is our brand new song called Dying for a Living. Well, my baby, she's a fussing and a cussing as I'm packing the truck. I ain't working for her daddy and her mama thinks I need to grow up. Yeah, the sun will be up before we... I just messed it up. I messed it up. I have to start over really quick. I'm so sorry. I'm nervous. My baby, she's a fussing and a cussing as I'm packing the truck. I ain't working for her daddy and her mama thinks I need to grow up. Singing this song is like slanging a drug. Call it contraband, can't get enough of this spit. Granted, dying for a living. Probably gonna kill me, but it'd kill me if it didn't. It's a fix of my addiction, it's a sin of my religion. It is what it is, and it ain't what it is. And I'm a honky-tonkin' dead man, walking, never quitting, just a picking, grinning, dying for a living, yeah. But he read a little rodeo queen, she stood and cutting her run. And them cocaine cowboys getting lit and tearing it up. Yeah, the sun will be up before we call it a night. I'm almost taking this toll, but it's a hell of a high. Just picking, grinning, dying for a living. Probably gonna kill me, but it'd kill me if it didn't. It's a fix of my addiction, it's a sin of my religion. It is what it is, and it ain't what it is. And I'm a honky-tonky dead man, walking, never quitting, just a picking, grinning, dying for a living, yeah. Yeah, I'm just a picking, grinning, dying for a living. Probably gonna kill me, but it'd kill me if it didn't. It's a fix of my addiction, it's a sin of my religion. It is what it is, and it ain't what it is. And I'm a honky-tonky dead man, walking, never quitting, just a picking, grinning, dying for a living. I'm a honky-tonky dead man, walking, never quitting, just a picking, grinning, dying for a living. Another benefit of being in a duo, you mess up and they got your back. You know?
Woo!
That's a hard way to sing, like right out the gate, not warmed up or nothing. But.
Oh, man. Good times, good times. Yeah, so I think we're going to do another one.
Yeah. Yeah, that last song was Dying for a Living. We wrote that of our good buddy Jordan Fletcher. It's just a honky-tonkin' song. It's fun to play, it's fast.
We wanted to add a little energy to the set.
Yeah, no doubt. So that being said, let's sing a slow one. But yeah, this song right here, man, like Charlie was talking about, it's been the backbone of our career, and just to see, you know, what this song has become for people means a lot. And when we put it out, like, never had a clue that this would happen. And I mean, this song really changed our life. And so, but yeah, I wrote this song when I was a freshman in college. And it's funny, it's a song about feeling friend-zoned, but people have, like, taken it to make it their, like, wedding song and stuff. So it's weird, like, songs hit people a different way, but yeah, I was just, like, super into this girl, and she was a good friend of mine. And she just, you know, I didn't want to tell her, because if I told her and she didn't feel the same, we'd never be friends again.
Mess it up.
So that was a song about being 18 and angsty and emotional, I guess. So, but anyways, this song's called Portrait Angel.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Don't you put on that makeup, we ain't going nowhere. Let's just sit on this porch swing, we can take it from there. It's the sound of the chain links as we rock till it's night. We can watch as the sun sets in hopes of holding you tight. So be my porch swing angel, got my heartstrings tangled, got those eyes that'll bring you to your knees. It's her smile like Sunday, been a while but one day. Yeah, that girl, she's the only thing I need. I wanna tell her how I feel, but I don't wanna scare her away. We've been friends for a long time, but I don't wanna change that today. But I'm sick of fighting these feelings, 'cause I ain't slept in days. I'm tired of hanging on this limb, 'cause I can't find the right words to say. Except be my porch swing angel, got my heartstrings tangled, got those eyes that'll bring you to your knees. It's her smile like Sunday, been a while but one day. Yeah, that girl, she's the only thing I need. Be my porch swing angel, got my heartstrings tangled, got those eyes that'll bring you to your knees. Won't you be my porch swing angel, got my heartstrings tangled, got those eyes that'll bring you to your knees. It's her smile like Sunday, been a while but one day. Yeah, that girl, she's the only thing I need. Yeah, that girl, she's the only thing I need. Bang. I didn't mess that one up.
Thank y'all.
Welcome back to Off the Record Live. That was a wonderful performance, y'all. That was really great.
Thanks, Joe.
And y'all at home have been hitting up chat, and I believe Catherine's going to tell us about some questions or some shout-outs that we've got.
Hit us, Kat.
Okay, so shout out to Star Chris 80, who is dancing in their work chair
That's
to
Christina
your
Zimmerman,
live
by the way.
show.
She's one of our biggest fans. Love
Oh,
her. Thank you,
awesome.
Christina.
All right.
And it's funny that y'all mentioned how that song was used in weddings, because Cove Cowgirl 2017 said Porch Swing Angel is her all-time favorite song, and it was her wedding song.
Damn.
Hey,
Seriously
thank you.
honored. Thank y'all so much. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Well, I want to talk a little bit about Porch Swing Angel. And
Cool.
kind of open the hood on this song a little bit. I know that you told kind of the story about
Yeah.
writing it and being 18.
I took that away from you, Joe. I'm sorry, bro.
No,
I thought that was on us.
No, I'm glad you
Yeah.
said it, because now we can talk about other stuff with the
Okay.
song, which is specifically, I'm really curious about. I mean, you mentioned that you kind of had these 3 songs that you were kind of
Yeah.
working up.
Right.
But this one does have such a stripped back arrangement.
Yeah.
And especially with the electric guitar and the way it sounds, it's that really specific sound. How did you guys kind of come to that conclusion that that's the way that song ought to sound? Was it natural? Was it like trial and error?
It's such a hard question.
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing, like, we could have easily gone in there and just made it acoustic, right? And it could have just been an acoustic. There's plenty of acoustic songs, but it's like, now in pop music you hear it more, but you didn't hear a lot of just like electric guitar and like in a minute arrangement of a song. So actually, funny story about that time. Our drummer now has been playing with us for 5 years now, we
Since
met
the
him the day he came in and played on a whim. The guy who we recorded with, Ryan, he said, I got this guy who lives down the street. He can probably come play for like $50 or whatever. And it ended up being Zoltan, our drummer, who's now. And he just played like a little drum loop. And we took that drum loop, looped it over, and just played the guitar. And we were like, God, I think this is enough. Like, and I don't know, sometimes, you know, being minimal and taking that minimal approach, which we've done often on a lot of our songs, I think it makes the song, like the words of the song, you know, breathe a little more and not get hidden. And so, I don't know, keeping it minimal and just melodically pleasing is like very, you know,
Yeah, we kind of even used that after. I mean, after obviously when Portuguese Angel was such a success for us. Like, I remember even being in the studio several other times and being like, let's not overdo this. Like, why would we overdo this? Like, let's just keep it minimal. And like, we made a lot of records like that, and a lot of our biggest songs are pretty minimal.
I would arguably say like our most popular songs, all 4 to 5 of them mostly are that thing. So. There's beauty in
to it.
minimal, so we always make sure to keep that in mind when we record.
Totally, and what's so cool about it too is that, and I'm a musician, so I've encountered this myself, when you're putting together arrangements, sometimes minimal can really work and sometimes it can really not work. And what I feel like is so great about y'all's songs is it's really a testament to the fact that it's like the songs themselves that allow for the minimal arrangement to work so well. I mean, like the lyrics, the melody, when it all comes together, I mean, you don't need anything else. And
like I said, you can do a lot with one guitar and harmonies. So it's
we made an entire EP one time with just electric guitar and vocals, and two songs on there like pretty big for us. It's like it saves a lot of money too.
There you go. So take notes at home if you're trying. Well, I want to ask about a few other songs just from y'all's career to kind of talk about kind of your growth leading up to the new music that you're doing now with this more definitive country style. And one song I'm really interested in is Enemy, just because it's such a beautiful song and it's so soul-bearing, but also because it has these legs where Struggle Jennings and Jelly Roll used it for their track, which I'm sure must have been kind of a really surreal kind of moment. What's the story on this track?
I would say before, because Charlie will probably say this way better than me, funny, the guitar melody, a lot of our music, I write like stuff like Portuguese Angel, for example, I'd written the melody on guitar before any lyric was ever done. So I'll mull over a melodic chord progression before I even attempt to write the song. So Enemy, I had written the melodic, the chords progression to it. And honestly, I remember Charlie and I really loved it, and I was like, this is beautiful, like by itself. And I remember we took it to a few writes, and people were like, man, that should just be like an instrumental cut.
Yeah,
like,
I do remember that.
And so I kept bringing it to these writes, and finally we sat down with a guy named Aaron Ratier, and he's an awesome writer in town. And I'll say this part, and then I'll let Charlie take it over. But we was playing the chord progression. He just said like, "My only enemy is me," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like that hit me like a freight train. And then we just tackled it, passing it off to
I mean, it kind of like fell into place, you know, in the writer's room. Sometimes you write songs that you don't have anything to do with, you know, personally or something like that. And like, there was something in the energy that day. We had already written a song and like all the pressure was gone. It was just one of those moments where we were like, well, we have time. Like, let's just see what else we got. And like you said, Aaron said like, my only enemy is me. And I was going through some things in my life too. Like I just quit drinking and like I was going through some mental struggles, like anxiety and stuff. And like, it was just a really easy song to write that day. You know, it's just like sometimes those songs like hit for the right reasons too. And I truly believe that like that, you know, like Gary brought that song up that day. Like I'm a believer in like that was for a reason, you know, and it was like
perfect timing.
Yeah, and it was perfect timing, and it's helped me through a lot of mental battles and struggles, and even, you know, last weekend, you know, we put that song out in 2018, and even last weekend, one of our fans, and we've heard like countless number of stories about how this song has helped and aided them through like a tough time. And you know, when you're writing music and stuff, you don't really think about it like that. You're just trying to put it out the best product you can, and you know, it's amazing, I would say, and so powerful, and just speaking to like how special it is that we get to do this, you know. And you know, just going back to that girl this weekend, you know, she came backstage for a moment and couldn't even keep it together. You know, she was just sobbing and telling us the story about how this song, you know, just helped her through the darkest time. And that's just a special thing, you know. That's one of the coolest parts about this song in particular. Not only did it help me, you know, it helps everybody.
Yeah, and it kind of makes it to where it's like that depth just hits that different. Like I'm a fan of like an awesome melody that everyone can sing and dance to. We have plenty of songs like that, but there's a time and place where you can have a song that's like, doesn't matter if the masses, like if this is not a #1 hit or not, like this song is affecting people. And like that's really our job. It's like our job as entertainers and musicians and artists is to take people out of like the craziness of the world. Like come to a show and enjoy yourself. You know, all creeds, you know, race, origin, colors, come to this show, have a good time. Let's forget about all that stuff. Leave that at the door and let's just experience something. So that's like that's our job.
It's one of the coolest parts about it,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful testament to everything that music does that's good in the world.
Yeah,
and
100%. This
affect
world
people
would
and
suck
communities.
without
This world would be tough.
Yeah, it would be
a lot more tough without music.
So true. Oh my gosh, wow. Well, I want to talk a bit about now the new music that you guys have coming out, and you just got to hear, all you at home got to hear the wonderful "Dying for a Living," which is such a fun song. When I listened to that for the first time, I was like, man, they like captured, like I feel like this is probably what it was like to have like listened to honky tonk music when honky tonk music was like brand new, like that same kind of energy of like it's hot, it's just so energetic, you want to dance. What can you tell us about kind of the shift towards this kind of country thing? Was that born out of the pandemic?
It's so cool that you said that too about like the honky tonk thing, and like it's something about like it feels like you're experiencing it as it was happening, and like we love that genre of music, and we can talk more about how we got there, but like specifically on this song, we've always wanted a song that was, you know, for lack of a better term, a barn burner, or like a, you know, just literally like burn the bar down, everyone's getting crazy.
Something rowdy.
Yeah, like something just as rowdy to 11 as possible. And I just didn't we didn't really feel like we had that yet. And so we sat down with our good friend Jordan Fletcher, and we love like John Michael Montgomery, like Sold, and like Grundy County, you know, the Grundy County Auction, and Be My Baby Tonight, and like songs like that. It was really like how it got inspired. And
yeah, I would add too, it's kind of funny because people, well, when we first started playing it before it was even out, people weren't singing it, but they would move like you would think it was a #1 song. So it did this weird thing to people where they're like, I should know
like
this,
they
right?
knew it.
Like
Yeah.
I know this. Like when have I heard this? And so it was a cool thing that happened. And so now that it's out too, now people actually know the song.
Yeah, it's
They're
even
like,
wilder. Yeah.
Heck yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of this record honestly is kind of going back to what we like, and that's really what start going into this record kind of transition into other songs. It's like almost an ode to like the timeless stuff, like the stuff that like we grew up on, that we still listen to. Like if we're in the van, like what are we listening to in the country music realm? And really we're like, well, this is what we're listening to and this is what we love. Why aren't we making this music instead of chasing this other thing that we feel like
should
you know,
be, yeah, like the popular thing.
Right.
Or,
I mean, this is a tangent, so here we go. We talked about
yeah, I
these.
like
But like,
tangents. I'm a
I feel like a
tangent
lot
guy.
of times, you know, and this is for upcoming artists too, it's like you move to Nashville and you start to have a bunch of different opinions about your music, right? And you I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to anybody, I'm not saying that. But like you start kind of like, you know, how you approach songs, you more so start approaching them as like, what do people want me to say?
What's the safest way
what,
to,
you know, what do I think that like they would want me to say, instead of like, no, what do I just need to say? And so that's kind of like something we kind of struggled with too, because we'd be like, oh, let's write this hit thing about this arbitrary person that's not me. We'll make this, you know, scenario that, you know, throw in a couple keywords, you know, throw some Salt Bae on it, and just, you know, try to figure out, you know, if people like it or not. And so instead now, with this record especially, it's just like, nah, there's something to say here. And all the songs have depth. I mean, even Dying for a Living, it's fun, but it's literally a song called Dying for a Living. And it's about us being on the road, hitting it hard, riding around in a van, not sleeping a
Chasing
lot.
a dream,
But,
yeah.
and, you know, losing hair and going gray and getting, you know, taking years off your life, but it's so damn fun. So it's just like, that's even a song like that that's a honky tonk barn burner, as Charlie would say it, it's like there's still depth to that too. So if you really like want to dive into the lyrics of it, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. And that totally listening to it, everything about it was so exciting. And
Yeah.
even like what I was saying with like how like it felt like honky tonk when it's new, it's like that same energy of like, it really does have this all-encompassing kind of undeniable pizzazz. I'm trying to like find the
Yeah,
this exact
it's like
word,
Roadhouse
but,
without
like,
Swayze.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like sometimes you can listen to that old stuff, and if you're not like a really big music fan, you can like the audio quality or just like how old it is. It kind of
Yeah.
separates it from you, and you kind of
Yeah.
like are like, oh, this is like.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, if you're there, like it's like
Yeah.
it's like hardcore music.
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
and, like,
100%.
that energy's behind it.
Yeah, and maybe, I mean, those elements probably derived from that and being at those shows, growing up and going to that kind of stuff. So
Oh,
it's
that's
cool.
so cool. Well, we have questions coming in from chat that I'm going to ask you here. One is from Jabea91. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. And they said, favorite place that y'all have performed?
Man, there are a couple notables. But
I'm not biased. I love when people show up. Like, it doesn't matter where it is, what part of the country, but I would say most memorable show, I feel like it's got to be like either their first sellout, which was in Rome, Georgia, at the Brew House, or we played the Grand Ole Opry, which was always a cool thing. Just to say you've done it. Like my grandparents or whatever, God rest their souls, but it's like that's like something they just would want to tell people. And for some reason, people equate that to arriving.
to like making it.
Yeah. He's on the Opry. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and those, not to reiterate what he said, but it's like specific cities radiate like a different energy sometimes, like for some weird reason, Little Rock, Arkansas just like has this energy to it when we play there. It's insane. Atlanta, Georgia, another obvious one, and then like Fort Worth. It's just like every time we're in these cities, I don't know why or what or how, but like the people there are just either just ravenous about music or ravenous about Muscadine Bloodline, but I love going there every single time. And so shout out to those cities.
Right on. From Tatum Lynn 64, we have, what do you guys do to stay focused doing show after show and late night travels on tour?
Honestly, I would say like it even goes back to like the eating Chipotle thing. It's just like a lot of times it's like it seems crazy, but on the road it's near impossible already to stay in a routine and just being like touring on the road's hard. Like you're gonna be tired, and for us it's like, all right, well let's not put more speed bumps in our way. So like the more I would say that we create some sort of routine on the road, it helps you survive that much a little bit more. It's like, hey, if we got time, let's go to the gym. Let's get active. Let's get a little more sleep if we can and stuff like that. I would say for me is like that's just survival tips for the road.
I mean, that's everything. Like
it's just hard.
Yeah,
like it just is.
When we first started, we were just jacked. We were going to all these different cities, having a blast. Not taking care of our bodies. Whether that's drinking too much, eating horrible, not getting sleep, and now
late night. And
now it's just like we've been doing this for 6 years. Now it's just like get as much sleep as possible, eat as healthy as you can, and have, like Charlie said, some sort of routine.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just a couple things.
And it sounds corny and it sounds lame, but like at the end of the day, this is a business, and it's like, yeah, we are best friends going out on the road playing songs with our buddies, having time of our life, but if we ain't taking care of ourselves and if we're dead tired and we can't put on the best show possible, and like I feel like that's doing a disservice to you guys. So that's some things we try to do to make the road a little easier.
Yeah, you eat.
Right.
Brought to you by Chipotle, right? If only.
And Zaxby's.
Where's Chipotle?
My grandmother would be like, "You're gonna turn into a Chipotle."
I know. You're gonna turn into a little burrito, Charlie.
That's awesome. We got one more viewer question here from Nifty XTTV, who asks, when was the first time y'all got noticed in public by a fan?
That's a good question.
I remember one.
I'm not sure if I
So
can.
we were in, this is the craziest thing too. So we were driving down the road. We were coming from Augusta, Georgia to somewhere in Alabama. And all of a sudden we're driving on the highway in the left lane, cruising. This Jeep floors. And we're like we bought a truck when we first started playing together. This old Avalanche. Charlie drove it till it croaked. And then we were driving down the road, and this guy pulls up in a Jeep, and right beside us, and he pulls out his phone, and it was when Southern Boy Cure was out. It was like our first song, and he was like while driving, I don't know how he did.
We were like, what is this idiot doing?
But yeah, I mean, and I was like, oh, he knows our music. That's really cool. So yeah, that's the first time I remember ever getting noticed. It doesn't happen as much as you think, I promise.
Yeah, I think one that happened to me too is like right when my wife and I started dating, and I was like, I think it was like one of the very first times I'd gone down to Mississippi to see her and her family or whatever, and we all went bowling or something, and it was like the whole family. And there was somebody in the lane next to us who just was miraculously a Muscadine Bloodline fan in the early stages,
Yeah.
you know. So
And it looks so good too.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you
You're
what,
like,
it got me some nasty brownie points because it was like a girl and her husband or something, and they were like, oh my God, like they kind of freaked out. And they're like, oh my God, can I please get a picture, you know? And I just remember Mallory's dad and mom like looking at me like, dang, dude, like, look at this guy, man. He's got it going on, you know. So I just
That
remember,
might be son-in-law after all.
yeah, like
you
I
know?
remember getting a few brownie points. They were like, oh, maybe they are doing it, you know.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's so great. Wow. Well, we are at the hour mark now, but I got one last question for y'all today,
yeah.
which is just talking about, you got the single that came out,
Yeah.
you got more music on the way, you got shows coming up in October and November.
Yep.
How do y'all feel? What's the future look like for you?
Just ready to get new music out. We've been living with this record for about 8 months now. You know, we've had it done that long, and now it's just getting into the world.
It's like a
So,
12-year-old like waiting for Christmas, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we literally are just sitting here in October, you know, and we're like, man, like it's gonna be a few more months, and it's just like we're playing the songs live, which is really exciting because everybody gets to hear it, and we're even getting feedback from people live, being like, when's this one coming out? And like that's what you want, obviously, but like nothing's gonna beat the day, you know, midnight hits and it's Christmas morning, you know, and the record comes out. It's not gonna be on Christmas, by the way, but
yeah. Besides the shows, a couple of the songs off the record will be coming out once. It's going to be announcing pretty soon, so I didn't want to drop any dates for our manager. You know,
You've got a very worried face from the manager.
it's
y'all.
very soon though.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, and then like the record is going to come a little bit after that, so we're excited.
It's so weird not saying the day, but you know, it's all a part of the strategy. So.
We're trying to trust the process here.
Trust
you know?
the process.
Yes. Foreshadowing. Yes.
Exactly,
Building anticipation.
exactly.
It's working. I'm in anticipation right now.
Hey, that's it. That's all that matters.
Well, that's all the questions I got for y'all today. Thank you so much for stopping by
Oh,
and
dude,
speaking with
I had a
us.
pleasure. This was fun.
this
This
was
is one of
really
my
good.
favorite interviews I've ever had.
I agree.
Awesome.
And we're not just saying
Joe,
that,
you
by
need
the
a raise,
way.
bro.
Not
All
just
right.
saying that. Y'all
I
keep
need a
this
raise.
dude. Get this
Okay,
dude a
everybody start
raise.
hitting up the chat. Start saying, give Joe a raise. And I'll
Spam,
Venmo you
give Joe
all.
a raise. Come on.
All right, cut it.
They're saying, cut. Well, seriously, thank y'all so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks,
Thanks to Twitch. Thanks for Neon Media for hosting us at their studios here. Thank you all at home for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to keep watching. Make sure to keep commenting. We love you. I love you.
Shout out Chipotle.
We love you.
Yes,
We
shout
love
out
him.
Chipotle.
Shout out Chipotle.
I love them. We're all in love. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Red
Have a
Bull.
great one. Sign it off.